Hi-yo. Here we go, people. It's podcast time. It's mid-holidays madness. The kids are still out of school. For me, if you were a Christmas person, that was yesterday. If you did that, I hope you had a great Christmas day. If you do the other holidays or don't do holidays at all, I just hope you had a great day in general. There's no reason not to have a good day just because you're not celebrating the particular thing that is on that day. Almost Agreement at gmail.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Go to the website, almostagreement.com. Check out what's going on there. Go to your favorite podcast provider. We're available on all those things. Text us to your friends. Like us, follow us, share us, friend us. Do what you can do to spread the word. The more interactions we get on the web places and whatnot, the higher we show up in other people's feeds. So just give us a go. I promise I'll do at least one interview this year. Because I looked at my Spotify thing and my best... the episode we did with... Jennifer Owen was the highest rated episode of the year for our Spotify account. Anyway, I did my thing and anyway, almost a group of people were going to do a show. I lost my train of thought. Bye. Yeah. Hey, buddy. How's it going?
Hey.
Hey. What's new? Anything exciting? Tell me about it. Did you get anything special, super cool for Christmas?
We haven't done the exchange yet.
Oh, a little delayed gratification. That's very new age of you.
Yeah.
The rest of your family go out of town or something?
Yeah.
Jackasses. They left you here all by your lonesome. Why'd you go with them?
I didn't feel like a long trip.
Where'd they go? Ohio?
No, the beach.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was hot enough to be the beach here. It was fucking... It's hot. It's hot. So, what's the bet? What's the bet we get, like, a foot of snow here in a couple weeks?
Like calling for it? Or?
No, I just feel like that's the inevitable reaction to...
50-50.
Yeah. I mean, that's about as good as the weatherman's going to get us too, so I'll take it. Yeah, but it's hot.
Yeah.
Like, I turned the AC on. I mean, yes, we had a bunch of people in the house and we're cooking a bunch of stuff, so there's extra going on. But, like, we couldn't open the windows wide enough to cool it off.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, yeah, anyway, if you have the family football game on Christmas or whatever, the weather was good for it.
I saw some article, I guess, was it Cowboys and somebody else? The Eagles, maybe?
The Commanders. Yeah.
I guess whenever they originally scheduled it, they expected it to be two teams that would be vying for the playoffs, but apparently neither are. Yeah, it's been an interesting football year. As often mentioned, I'm quite a fan. Like last night's game. So there were 3 games on Christmas Day. Detroit, Minnesota, which there was a little bit of playoff implication. Detroit, if Detroit had won that game, they still had a chance. If they lost that game, it kind of was an elimination game for them. The Vikings were already eliminated in that game. The Washington and Dallas game was 100% pointless. There was nothing to either of those teams. And then the late game was the Broncos and the Chiefs, which again, at least the Chiefs would have been like assumed to be in the playoff hunt, where the Broncos were a little bit more questionable, where the Broncos had the best record in the AFC and the Chiefs were eliminated by our Titans last weekend when me and the kid went. Oh, really?
So they were officially out. Mahomes wasn't playing still because he's out for the rest of the year. There was a bunch of, and this is the big news that I took away from watching the game last night, is apparently there's a bunch of speculation that would be Travis Kelce's last home game.
Yeah, I saw something about that.
Because they play at Vegas next week to close the season out. They're already eliminated from the playoffs, so that's it. And, he's getting married this summer. So it might be time for him to grow up and get a real job instead of playing games for a living. Because he's got to take care of...
He might go on the broadcasting route.
He has to take financial care of his wife.
That's right.
And be a proper provider.
Swifties can't provide for everything.
I'm pretty sure they can. I'm pretty sure that's exactly... Yes, they can. I'm pretty sure whatever Taylor Swift wants to do or anything like that, she can afford to do it. Like...
I'm in her fan base, the Swifties.
Right, and they would... And I like, if she was like, you know what, I want to go to Mars... They'd be like, okay. And she would go and start her version of Blue Origin or whatever and hire a bunch of people, and she would get a bunch of investments from her Swifties and not even have to get real investors involved.
Possibly.
I guarantee you, if she did it, but I don't think that's on her to-do list.
She does have Swifties worldwide.
Yeah, so it would be the most universal government-ish. It'd be the most worldwide entity in the space race, because apparently the NASA or the U.S. in general is trying to get back to the moon again, and China is apparently making ovations that they're planning on sending something to the moon.
I want to say they were trying to send something up to like the dark side of the moon, maybe, or some spot that nobody's landed at before or not really explored. I could be wrong.
I mean, I don't know. I go back and forth. Like I would argue to death that historically speaking, the space race was really just about developing rockets to deliver nuclear weapons. That was 99% of the point, and the science and stuff for actual human knowledge was.
Yeah, it was the origins of it.
Was somewhere with it, but at the end of the day, it was really just a quote civilian agency to put a positive spin on the development of nuclear weapon distribution.
It also allowed to get satellites up there.
Yeah, I guess. But still, I don't like what is the true. Like, I don't understand what the point is at this point. Like, it's interesting, it's neat, and I'm down with learning interesting and neat things, but you have to justify the cost, and it's quite expensive to do these interesting and neat things.
I see no point in going back to the moon.
And so, because you can just, especially governmentally, you can justify the Department of War investing in NASA because they can use some of the technology for, for military ends.
Right.
I don't know that really would apply here, like it did then, because the technology to get satellites and to get rockets. I mean, the thing right now, the next evolution in rockets is these faster than the speed of sound, these Mach 1 rockets, or what do they call them? Hypersonic rockets, or supersonic rockets, or something like that.
Oh, okay.
That they go so fast that these anti-missile, anti-aircraft systems can't shoot them down because they're too fast.
Right.
Like, as far as I know, that's the newest development in rocket technology for warfare, is just to make them faster.
Right.
I don't think anything in a U.S. mission to the moon is going to have any impact on that technology advancing. I'm just giving you not that was a good justification back in the day, but there was at least there is a positive end for us in the Cold War argument of it to help fund and pursue this noble effort. Where that's not here anymore, and so it's even harder to justify the cost. Is what I'm trying to say right now. Is You don't even have nefarious backdoor reasons to justify this cost, like we did back in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, I could see it.
So I don't know. I'm not opposed to interesting and learning things, but it's just I mean, are we seriously wanting to set up a station and people go live there and we have moon bases, and then we have the Chinese and the Americans fighting over that? There's a great series, For All Mankind, that was on Apple. It was one of the first set of Apple original shows to come on to the Apple TV Plus. It was a historical fiction where the whole premise of the show, the show starts off with the moon landing, but then as it comes off of the screen and the news coverage of the moon landing, it's in this bar in Houston with a bunch of astronauts in it, and they're all pissed off. And then you kind of hear the journalist or whatever on the TV say that Russia has landed Sputnik 7 or whatever they called it and stuff like that. And so the whole premise of the show is an alternate history if the Russians won the space race to the moon, and how the U.S. would react to that. It's kind of neat. I mean, it's fun. It's a fun thought experiment, I suppose, to what do you think would have happened if. But then they touch on the whole Werner von Braun thing,
right?
And that history, which is a little sketchy.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Again,
got to pass.
Again, but like the was it Project Paperclip or whatever it was?
Yeah.
The ends were we need to develop and master this program and this technology before the Russians do. And the Russians will absolutely take these guys and not kill these guys and put them in war tribunals or whatever, and use their skill set to.
Well, they had a good number as well.
Yeah, I'm saying like they did this like right. That's my point. Is the Russians are doing the same thing, and if the end is if we lose this race, we cease to exist, or at least that's what we think at the time. Then you're willing to look the other way on a real Nazi scientist that did some dirty Nazi scientist shit. But I mean, he's doing the same thing there. He's just doing rocket, and jet propulsion.
I think they were using, but I think I remember seeing something about Japan had actual like jet fighters in World War II. Yeah. They were still like experimental at the time.
I mean, the Germans had a couple.
At that time, I mean, they were pretty much. I think they got them in the air, but they were flying so damn fast that there was no real like there was no way of like dogfighting with it because they were flying that much faster than the other airplanes.
But they did it. So
they did it, yeah.
So I don't know. Like I'm not like I'm like. And I think another factor now that I think is explicitly different than the 70s is the state of the economy. Actually, I don't know. We had the oil embargo and all that mess, gas lines.
Yeah, that was short-lived though.
Yeah, I just think I think comparatively economically, it's a whole different planet too. So I don't know how much we the population are going to be ooh and ahhing over this before we're going wait the fucking second. I mean, I think that's where, I think that like I think that's where. I think more of the disdain for our support in Ukraine, our support in Israel, our other different supports around the world, this thing going on in Venezuela, I think the average American could give a shit could really care less that we're just killing random people in boats around Venezuela. Like the actual humanitarian part, I think the average person would be like, I don't know. It's not my favorite, I guess, but they're not going to get real mad about that. But then more people are mad about, wait, how much was the rocket? How much are those drones that were flying over there?
Right.
And the president's telling me that I don't need to buy $30 for my kid, but he's allowed to go drop $1 million bombs on some random fishermen in the ocean, and I'm supposed to feel good about this,
right?
And I think that's where we're at on all this stuff. I think all this stuff is just the straight economics of it.
And we've got a huge fleet down there right now.
Yeah, I mean it's
some of which we probably brought over from the Middle East.
To be fair, like there is some sunk cost in this. Like we have these battleships and aircraft carriers and jets and all these different military personnel and the train. Like we've spent all the money on these things and these people to achieve this capability. It's not significantly more expensive to do it, especially if we're not getting killed in return. Like if it's a real war where our planes are getting shot down and that's what are these what are these F-35s costing? Like a couple billion a piece.
Wouldn't surprise me.
When they start getting shot down, then we can make the cost argument. But right now, at least, other than the actual, projectile that we're shooting, there's not a lot of cost in what we're doing in
We've
Venezuela.
lost one or two in the past year or so from just like
drones.
I think it was training. No, like F-35.
Oh yeah, because they don't because they're shitty planes.
I think one of them just like fell off the ship as it was like coming in for a landing.
There's one that just fell off a ship, like just not even doing anything. It's just sitting on there and it hit.
Yeah, I think the boat like tilted or something.
Hit a wave and fell off the ship.
Yeah.
Apparently that happened during Vietnam, right off the Japanese coast, and it was a plane with a nuclear warhead on it.
Oh, nice.
Fell off the side of the boat and sunk to the bottom of the ocean. And there was a whole big hullabaloo about because this is before we normalized relations with Japan. We were cool, but it was like Japan, apparently our
still
navy
occupying.
But our Pacific fleet, the agreement we had with Japan was our Pacific fleet could port in Japanese ports, but no nuclear anything could come into any of their ports. And by the international waters rules or whatever, that was basically it's 100 miles from the coast or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so the agreement was no nuclear. The U.S. is not allowed to bring any nuclear anything inside the international boundary.
Yeah.
And so this aircraft carrier that dropped this plane off the side with the nuclear warhead on it was 20 miles off the coast.
Nice.
And it was a whole big back and forth hullabaloo about the Navy was like, well, what do we if we tell the Japanese that we did it and we're going to go look for it, they're going to be mad. If we go look for it and don't tell them why we're there, they're going to be mad. And so it ended up being a pretty, a decently well kept secret for a while before it finally came out 30 years after the fact.
Yeah.
It's a pretty neat little deep dive story. I can't remember much more than that, but
It's a recent story about, like, apparently there was like a SEAL strike where we went into North Korea in the past few years or so, I want to say it was, where we ended up shooting like a fisherman or two because they got spotted as the SEALs were like, I think they were let off like a mile or two out and basically had like a small submersible and like came up to the coast.
Yeah.
I don't know what the mission was or whatever, but apparently they popped up on the shore and there was a couple fishermen that saw them, so they were...
Way to go.
Like, well, no witnesses.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. So anyway, we're going back to the moon. So buckle up, everybody.
Yay. I've seen a couple things on. I guess I think Elon and others have talked about trying to go to Mars, but I've seen a couple astrophysicists that are like, we're not there yet.
I mean, I think I think
the time that it would take and just like the toll on the body to get someone there. That
the physical, right? I think we could physically get there, but it's going to be a short-lived experiment.
It's like, all right, made it. Now we got to turn around before we die.
Right. Like, but I think it's one of those. Like, I don't know how you do the process. Like, like we are good enough now where we can send unmanned stuff, and we could have like a whole base at least, like dropped off. Maybe not set up, but at least all the components dropped off, and then the first man's mission gets there and has to quick set up their base. And I don't know how the body is going to acclimatize to the gravitational differences and
I think we've still got a couple of rovers there.
Yeah, the day, I can't remember what the day's like 30 hours, I think.
Is it? I don't know.
It's different, because
it's further away.
Well, but the year's longer, because it's a longer ellipses around the sun, but the actual rotation of Mars itself is slower. I believe. I'm not 100% on that, but it might be shorter. I don't remember. Yeah. I just remember they were talking about that Martian movie with
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon, yeah, I almost said Ben Affleck. The other one, you know what I mean. One of the things that they were talking, like Neil deGrasse Tyson did a breakdown where because he loves to pick apart sciencey movies, and he was like, I'm pretty impressed because they were pretty good on the science, and he was talking about how, one of the hard things to deal with in when you start getting extraplanetary or whatever is how to tell time, because everything that we know and naturally do in telling time is based on
our perspective,
the physics of the Earth and its rotation, and the moon and its rotation, and it's all just based off of here, and so it's a whole different, a day's 24 hours to us, but a day would be, and I think they call them souls in the show or in the movie. It's a soul there instead of a day, just so they don't confuse the idea, which is, I guess, kind of smart. It's 13 souls, but it's 7 days or whatever.
I mean, they've done experiments just sending like a hypersensitive clock, basically,
right,
and compared it between like ground level and then going up like 40, 50,000 feet.
I still don't
or
understand
whatever.
how that works. I don't get that.
Yeah, because they did the twin experiment with with
the Kelly brothers.
The Kelly brothers,
yeah.
So one of them is technically kind of younger and older than the other.
Right. Yeah, they're twins, but they're not technically
not
twins
the same
anymore.
age anymore.
Yeah. So
of course, I guess they never were to begin with.
Well, depends on which lie mom told when they asked when they were kids.
Yeah.
I'm older than you. There's a standard twin trope, I suppose. Yeah, so I don't know why we got on Space Race. Because it's Christmas week and we didn't have a lot of newsy news, and I don't know why that came across my attention.
Not letting me move, and I don't know why.
So last week when Rowdy was singing to us at the end of the show, because he was singing along with the fireworks, it was 3 blocks up the street and the house on fire.
Really?
Like legit on fire, yeah.
I didn't see anything when I left.
Which way? Did you go that way or that way?
Towards the North Shore.
But did you go towards the mall, or did you go over to...
No, over the North Shore.
Yeah, it's the other way. So basically the exit to the front entrance of Rocky Hill, that little side street over there, it's the second. Well, there's a brand new house, and it used to be the first house on the street, but now it's the second house on the street because the new house got built. Yeah. Like I was a little bit of a pack rat, it looked like, too, so there's a lot of stuff burned in that house. He used to have like 2-week garage sales where his entire front yard was all tables and like clothes racks, all sorts of stuff just out in his front yard for like weeks straight, which is technically illegal in the county or the city. Yeah, you're only allowed to do a couple. Like there are like you're supposed to get a permit to do a garage sale, and you're only supposed to have I think you're only supposed to be able to do 2 a year.
Wow. Didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what is it like? It's designed to make it so that people don't run a
Swap
mercantile business out of their front,
right,
out of their driveway, because that is kind of rude to neighbors, I guess.
It's just my little mini flea market.
Yeah, I mean, there's another guy up the street that he does one almost every weekend, right off the ball fields. And it's just one of those the cops aren't coming unless somebody calls and says, hey, this guy does a garage sale every weekend.
Just all the time.
I mean, I've got to be nice to him. He gave me a copy of The Origin of Man or something like that, some big old fat novel. It's not The Origin of Man. I don't know. It's a book. He gave me he just gave it. He's like, you can have that. It's like, okay. What is it? No, it's going to drive me nuts. It's in that drawer right there. I'll have to go dig it out here in a second. But yeah, I don't know. Like we had, it was hot. The news coverage was hiking and whatever. You know what? We should have skipped the show tonight and gone down to the drag Christmas show at I think they were doing it at the Civic this year.
Say the Civic?
Yeah. They've done it at the Tennessee Theater in years past and got a bunch of backlash because the Tennessee Theater is a state or a city-owned property. So it's the Civic. And
I was about to say hitting the Civic as well.
Nobody's mad about it being at the Civic. There's an Ice Bears game, too. So you got a drag show in the auditorium and an Ice Bears game in the Coliseum going on at the same time. That's an interesting crowd mix.
It's only because my freeze days don't work on the blue team.
It's probably far enough apart.
I mean, I remember going to a couple hockey games and you could hear going down like the little kids zone. I think I took one. I think I took kids one time. And there's a little kids zone on the lower level,
right?
And like that's where it's just doors. It's just a row of doors that goes into the auditorium.
To the backstage or something?
No, I think that's the back of the auditorium.
Okay.
Or maybe it's, I don't know. Yeah.
I've
only been in the auditorium like twice, ever.
Yeah.
I haven't been to the Civic since last time I think we went to a hockey game. I'm going to... When we went to the game and the guy next to us said, Coach gave the signal they're about to fight, that's when I stopped watching. Like, that's when I completely fell out of wanting to watch an Ice Bears game again.
Because
there's they stage fights.
Yeah. I mean, they do it in the NHL. The coach would be like, "All right,
can I kick his ass, Coach?
No more fights."
I don't know. I just I don't. Maybe they do, and maybe maybe that'll end my love of hockey in general. But
I mean, some was just to get the crowd behind them, kind of pump up the fans, and then pump up the team as well.
Yeah, but that and then they advertise fight night. It's like, well, that doesn't really seem like it's supposed to be a reaction to the physical play and frustration that is the game of hockey.
Right.
Not, I mean,
you see it a lot more in minor league.
Yeah, the NHL has done everything it can to reduce it. That's why they did the shield rule. I mean, that's why that was the point of the shield rule. Yeah, 100%.
No, just stop injuries.
Yeah, from getting punched in the face.
No, that was just getting hit in the face with pucks,
which
sticks, still happens.
Yeah, I mean,
and sticks.
But
yeah,
it was definitely if at worst it was definitely a happy byproduct of the plan was to reduce the number of fights.
Yeah, the Predators still have like one of the few guys that are grandfathered in that doesn't wear a shield.
I mean, there can't be many left. Like it's been a long time.
I'd say maybe 5 or 6. There's only a handful.
I mean, I like the way they do that rule. I like that rule. I don't necessarily like the rule, but I like how they do those rules. I like that it's because I imagine if it didn't go into place this year, I wouldn't be surprised if over the break, over the next after this season, that when they do their rules committee and do the update, that they add the neck guard.
I was about to say I've heard talk of that.
And what they'll do is it'll be okay in the 26-27 season, all rookies have to wear the neck guard.
Maybe it was that, or I think they were also talking. I guess they have like cut resistant socks. There's a couple of guys have. What? I don't think they have to, but I think they maybe talked about implementing that as well. There's a number of people who have gotten like their Achilles kind of cut up and shit.
Huh.
That's like calling yourself.
That's crazy. I didn't consider that one, but yeah. But what they'll
The socks might not. The socks they might just make them do because that's a uniform piece and that's what's provided by the teams, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But for the neck guard thing, it'll be the 26-27 season. All rookies starting in the 26-27 season have to wear the neck guard. And then, it'll just age out everybody eventually, and then it'll shift over. That's what they did with the helmet rule. That's what they did with the shield rule.
Right.
And I think that's a good way to do it. I think it's a fair way to do it. Like, because especially like if you're a rookie, you've come out of playing a semi-pro somewhere or college where they usually have a higher standard
Cage.
of do what?
I think a lot of college still use like a full cage.
Right. As I'm saying though, so it's like that you're not. You get to lose some equipment going from college to pro, but next year it's one less than the guy the year before you.
Yeah.
You're used to wearing it. You've been wearing it your whole junior hockey career, and you still wear it. It's just there, where you don't have to go. You're like, sweet, I don't have to wear this anymore. And a couple of years later, they're like, oh, now I got to wear it again. It's like, well, I like not wearing it. Like that. Like I think that's a fair way to do it. But
it's like, well, you should have gotten in the NHL faster.
Right.
Be better.
If you were better, you wouldn't have to wear it because you would have gotten in the league a couple of years sooner.
But I played 2 games before they sent me back down. Does that count?
I mean, I'm sure there's some very, 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 very specific. All right, I guess I have to touch on this because I totally my comments last week did not age well about Bernie Lyon. He is not running for sheriff as of this week. He ended up passing away from whatever. I still haven't heard how. I've not seen.
I don't think they've released.
Right. He was 67. He's been with the department since 79. He's had a bunch of different roles. He was running to succeed Spangler. He was hospitalized on December 10th and never recovered, although they have not released the underlying details. And so, I mean, I still stand by my statement. Like this. I mean, this is going to be a very significant and impactful sheriff's race, and having a candidate in hospital that is unclear whether they're still running or not is, I think it's a fair question for the constituent to ask. Like, are you still running or not, man?
Yeah.
I don't really rescind my statement other than it just didn't age well because like I was kind of pitching a fit about it, and then he dies like 2 days later, and I felt like a dick. But condolences around. I have no positive feelings on his passing. I'm not trying to celebrate or anything like that, but I don't know. Like, it seems kind of.
It's a valid question of are you fit for the job?
Right.
I mean, we have a current one now that's
he's had pancreatic cancer.
Yeah.
Which is usually a killer.
Yeah, I think it's like one of the fastest killers or one of the most lethal.
So, which makes me want to get a job with Knox County because apparently their insurance is kick ass. KPD, yeah. I mean, there's really like that's it. That's the. What's this one? T-Dot.
One story I just saw that there was an elementary school in Sevier County, an elementary school kid that got a gun at school. His parents found it, I guess, when he brought it home, but he got it like earlier that day from another kid.
I did see some arrests happened or something like that, headline, but I didn't really catch the full story. What do we know? That
was about it.
Huh?
I think 2 of the kids got charged for illegally having a gun and then having it on school grounds, and I think one of the parents of the kid that brought the gun to school, I think, got like some kind of child endangerment or child neglect or something like that charge.
Yeah. I follow that. I'm trying to dig through all my mailers to see what's jumping out. Oh, this is a fun one. A Maryville guy deported by ICE was returned because he was here legally. I just can't put I can't wrap my head around the thought process here by ICE and the Trump administration. Like, how do you not foresee the idea that this is going to significantly negatively impact you? Like, I don't care how hard, like, I'm sure Eric and some other people like that would be pretty staunch on it, but like, I don't know how hardcore you'd have to be, No, I can't imagine anybody's like actually hardcore enough to be like, yeah, well, if we deport some...
They put like some pseudo quotas kind of on themselves. They're like, by the end of the year, we want to
good, fine, do it, great. Like,
2 million or whatever.
But do it correctly. Nobody's going to, like... I mean, people are going to complain. There will be a whole subset of people that are still going to be mad about it. But, like, how much time and energy and money are you wasting having to go get people back that you deported that you shouldn't have? And how much, realistically, just how much does it underline how much of an asshole you guys are? Because you're not even bothering doing some simple stuff. Like, I feel like it should be pretty simple checks.
I read an article a while back that we've seen a decrease in kind of like other crimes, basically because they've rerouted so much law enforcement to just for like immigration enforcement, basically.
So we've seen an increase in other crimes?
I think we've seen an increase, but we've seen like a decrease in like, I guess like apprehensions for other major crimes.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. I mean, the same thing with like when they sent the National Guard into D.C. or whatever. Their crime rate fell through the floor. And then it ran right back up as soon as they left.
Yeah.
Well, they haven't really left yet. They kept coming. They came back again.
Yeah, I think after the shooting, they like redeployed or deployed like 500 more.
Yeah. And so,
I think Chicago, there's like some kind of federal judge that I think it put some kind of like hold on them for now and not allowing them to be in Chicago. LA, I think we had Democrat. I don't know where the lawsuit's at now, but there was Democratic lawmakers that sued for the National Guard being in Memphis. I think they've already had one ruling on it, where the judge agreed that per state law, like there wasn't any kind of like insurrection or anything like that, so there wasn't like an actual need for them to be there per state law. I guess for them to be deployed,
right,
there has to be like an active whatever.
Right, that's why it's easy in Memphis, because the governor and the state attorney and stuff like that aren't pushing back. They're like, yeah, sure, come on.
Yeah.
Even if the local mayor and stuff's like that, no, thank you. I don't know, that goes back to like we were talking about the school stuff, the TCAPs and stuff like that. So like, we have gotten into this place where cooperation between government entities is a bad thing. Which on some level I kind of default that direction personally. Like, when they start cooperating, it's usually not in our best interest as the public. But now they're just doing it against each other, which is kind of funny. Because it's all stupid politics, and it's stupid politics. I can't even, there's no other way to phrase it.
Yeah.
It's literally, that's what I don't get about the long term. I just don't, I don't know. There's plenty of people out there that I talk to that are convinced that Trump's going to run for a third term. And while he hasn't dismissed it outright, for the most part, he hasn't really seemed like it, other than Adelson at that weird, creepy thing that they did a couple weeks ago, saying that she would donate another $100 million or $250 million or whatever to his campaign to run again.
Yeah. I saw that. I think it's Alan Dershowitz, which I think defended him in one of his trials or whatever. But apparently, he wrote a book not long ago that basically laid out the argument. Yeah.
Which I don't think. I haven't read the book. Don't get me wrong, but I don't.
He's a good enough lawyer, but I think it's like the 22nd Amendment or whatever. It's pretty ironclad.
Right. It's pretty blatant. It's pretty clear as far as I understand it.
It's like, well, I think we could argue it that maybe.
I just to me, it's would there be a number of states that certify ballots if he's on it? Probably. Will all 50 states? No. The constitutional crisis that will come down if he tries to run again would be terrifying yet fascinating.
I had a funny thought that he and Vance both try to run and both put the other one down as their vice president.
Well, and again, from the Constitution,
I want to run again, or I want to run, but how about you be my vice president?
It is blatant, because that was one of the things that somebody floated out. It was well, Vance will run and then win, and then he'll step down, and Trump will come right back into the White House. And it's no, because it's very explicit. Is after 2 terms, you cannot be president again. Yeah. It's not wishy-washy that you can't run for president again.
That would go to the Speaker of the House. I think is next in line.
Right, but even that, that's what I'm saying. Though, it's there's the way the Constitution states it. it doesn't say he could legally run again. He could try to run for president again, but if he wins, he cannot be president per the Constitution.
Right.
There is no method for him to take the White House that is legal by the Constitution, because the Constitution says you cannot serve as president again. So whether he's the Speaker of the House and the President and the Vice President die or quit or whatever it is that they get out of the way, so that he would be the theoretical next in line, by rule, it would have to skip him.
Yeah.
So, actually, it doesn't say what the Constitution doesn't clearly define what the breakdown would be. Like, it doesn't say, just skip to the next person in line. But that's the assumption.
Right.
That's the inference. It's like, okay, well, somehow Trump becomes Speaker of the House, and Vance and whoever he runs against just quit.
So they floated that idea in the previous administration.
The only argument that I've heard,
like, oh, well, technically, to be Speaker of the House, they don't have to necessarily be a member of the House.
Correct. Which there was jokes about him being Speaker and President at the same time.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
But the only thing that kind of opens the door, and I'd have to reread it again, is that there are people out there who I've heard make the argument of that the Constitution is 2 consecutive terms, meaning since he lost and then won, that he could run again because he hasn't done consecutive terms.
I've heard that, but I think the 22nd Amendment's pretty
It's just
explicit.
2 terms.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it just says 2 terms.
Right.
Makes no mention of consecutive. Because realistically, if that was the rule, why wouldn't like a Clinton or an Obama or a Bush we can go back as far as we want.
Yeah, I think Obama's joked about that. He's like, then I'll run again.
Take a year off, and then, that would again the crisis that would ensue. It'd be curious. I think the Democrats should. If somehow Trump says he's running again and the process starts and he's on the ballots and the thing looks like he's going to be, just nominate Obama. It'll be crazy. We'll have a race war. It'll be nuts. So, we might as well, if we're going to break it, let's break it. Let's really break it down and let's see. I'd be really fascinated to watch that play out.
Let's test the course.
I would be stopping at the sports store, making sure my ammo collection is as fat as I can afford it to be. I'd be building more fences and maybe boarding over some of my first floor windows and stuff like that. But I will be watching with great morbid curiosity, I guess, would be if we had an Obama-Trump run for the White House.
That'd be nuts.
Because just on the hypothetical, if that were to happen legally, even forget the constitutional crisis aspect of it, but the rage and vitriol at play, that would be violent. There's no way that wouldn't be violent.
Yeah,
there would be a lot of violence around that. It would be fascinating.
So I don't know. I don't think there'd be that much violence.
I think there's no way. I think at the population at large, that there is no way that either one isn't going to think they won. And that there's going to be no amount of counting ballots and verifying and certifying ballots that anybody believes. No matter which way. They're like, how is it even possible? It's not even possible that Obama could lose. And there will be 40-something% of the country that truly believes that Trump cheated to win the election. And then if Trump loses, he's been that way for 2 cycles already. Why wouldn't you do that again? And so, Jan 6 would be a vacation day compared to what would happen if that race, unless it was somehow a blowout one way or the other, just obnoxious, so far, but even that, I think even that, because the only one that makes sense to me is Obama blows it out and wins all the swing states. And maybe even steals a couple of, quote, strong red states because just enough Republicans are tired of Trump or whatever that they vote for Obama. But even that, what do you think of, Trump's going to be like, no way, it's not possible. There's no way that he won by that much. Trump, I could hear the phrase, I could see me losing to this man by a few votes, but not by this many. There's no way this many. The only way this many is possible is they're stuffing ballots. They're cheating. They brought out all their immigrants and they voted even though they're illegal. The math doesn't make sense. People think about it.
Cheaters.
I mean, that's that's inevitable in that situation. All right, let's go back to last week because we did touch on something late that I was thinking about, and I would like to explore your thoughts more on is the United States floor for the quote unquote middle class is right at $200,000 a year in annual household income. That seems to be like I haven't looked into other people saying it other than the one I saw it on, but that kind of that kind of tracks to me. Does that track to you? Do you feel like that's accurate? Because I think it's the curiosity I have is like what are the factors?
My perception is it shouldn't be that high, but I guess are they coming up with that of like having a quote unquote median house with being able to relatively afford things?
All right. According to Investopia, middle class, a socioeconomic strata that falls in between the working class and the upper class. The middle class is a socioeconomic category used to describe people and families with incomes that fall into the median range for the geographic area they live in. The definition is not precise, but generally middle class people in the United States are viewed as having sufficient means to live a comfortable lifestyle.
Yeah.
Our white-collar professionals who run their own businesses tend to have college degrees, may own their homes, have adequate health insurance, have some disposable income after their basic needs are met, and are saving towards retirement. I mean, personally, I'm about 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm like 4 of the 6 key factors I could check in my box.
You're getting there.
I mean, I have health insurance, but it's not adequate. Like, what does adequate health insurance mean?
Yeah.
You know, like, do I have health insurance? Do I go to my annuals? Yes, but like, if the shit hit the fan right now, and I like wake up tomorrow with like, prostate cancer, like our sheriff had, am I going to survive that financially? Mm-mm. I mean, I might survive it, but I'm going to survive it in some serious debt on the other side.
Right.
And like to be fair, like have some disposable income after basic needs are met, sorta, at least with some short-term debt. Like generally speaking, like I can buy stuff if I want to buy stuff, but I might have to hold it on the card for a little longer than just buying it straight cash.
Right.
But I'm certainly not putting significant savings towards retirement. In 2024, in Frisco, Texas, the median was $145,900.
What year?
2024, last year.
Okay.
Middle class in America is the $26 minimum wage. If they're staying on to keep, yeah. I don't know. Like, I just don't, like, I don't, not with kids or anything. If we didn't have kids, I'd be set. I would be checking all those boxes. But with kids, no way.
Right.
And so, like, I think, I don't know. I think I got a conversation, and we've talked about this before in the show. I got a conversation with a friend. He asked me to get him a meeting with Briggs, and so I'm going to get to work on that on Monday, because I'm not going to do it this week because of the holiday. But he's not a big fan of all these synthetic opioids that are coming out over the counter. And he's scared, and I'm not a big fan of them either. I think it's a concerning thing, but it goes back to just taking that off the shelf is not going to fix the problem. Is it bad for people? Sure. Are people abusing it? Absolutely. But if the little C-store on the corner of the gas station doesn't carry them, it's not going to change anything for the user. They're just going to find it at a different place.
Right.
And so it goes back to my because I think this rolls into the middle class, the lack of a U.S. middle class anymore argument too. It's like we have an economic system that is getting stratified. We've talked this has been a conversation for years. Like we've got 50 people that have 60% of the total wealth in America right now.
Something like that. Yeah.
If you're making 6 figures. You're in the top 10% of income earners in the United States. But if you're making 6 figures, you might not be even up to middle class. Because so many people are not. So many people are making $40,000, $50,000 a year still.
Right.
And so, but going back to the drugs and stuff like that thing, it's like, to me, it's like we need to figure out a way to make this economic system work for people so that they feel like there's something worth living for and worth taking care of themselves and something like that, things of that nature. Because I still like that's my argument for like if you want to do a correct war on drugs, to me, it's an economics game. It's not chasing the cartels out or throwing the dealers in jail. It's you're like addicts don't quit because it's not available.
All right.
I mean, yeah, you throw them in jail where it's not available. I guess they end up detoxing, but they don't quit. The addiction's still there. They just don't have it. Where people that beat the addiction are people that want to beat the addiction because they have a reason to.
Right.
And if life sucks, you don't have a lot of reasons to try to beat the addiction. And if we're just going to focus on taking the things away from people, it's not going to. I don't see that as a solution. So I'm very interested in how this conversation is going to go because I'm going to sit down in this meeting too and be like, well, I disagree. When what Briggs' takeaway is going to be for it if we get this conversation going. I'll try to do Briggs, Massey, me, and him, and we'll sit down and chat. I'm sure Briggs and Massey are opposed to these things existing.
Most likely, yeah.
Which again, like I'm opposed to these things existing too. The solution is not Briggs and Massey saying you can't buy it at the store anymore. To me, I don't see that as a solution. I mean, really, it's just, if anything, it's like just going to push it over into getting the black market stuff when you start ending up tickling fentanyl or something on accident and killing yourself. I don't know. I'm sure there is a number of people out there that will stop because it's illegal. Like, it's the same conversation we've had about the hemp thing that's going on right now. Like, I joke with my customers. It's like, rephrase that. My customers joke with me. It's like, it's not like I'm going to stop smoking weed. I'm just going to have to go back to buying it from my guy.
Right.
And it's like, it's the same thing. It's like, you're not, if the goal is to get people to quit using it and destroying their lives using it, taking it off the shelves isn't the way, isn't going to do that. They'll find it somewhere else, or they'll find something else to fill the hole.
Right.
And neither of those are good ways to help people out. Because I'm sure there's not enough. The correct answer is not enough treatment and other things that the state could provide. Although we do need a mental health facility here, and that is in the works apparently.
Really, that's good.
And that would help some of those, like some of the minor things. But still, availability is not the point. Like there's a rehab place right across the street from us, at the West Store.
That's right. Yeah.
And some counselor there came in and was like, "Will you not sell to our people?" And it's like, I don't know who your people are.
Exactly.
And if your people are walking in here to buy stuff from me that you don't think they should be using because of their rehab, then you're not doing a very good job giving people reason not to go back to using.
Right.
Because again, like the having access is not the problem. The problem is why. And I don't like, that's my take on it, at least. And I'm curious to see what my buddy's argument against that is. Because he's like, I hear what you're saying, but it's late. I'm not arguing with you over text right now on this one. I was like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, people who live in Dry County still drink.
Yeah.
They just can't buy it there.
Right. It's just more expensive. And then they have to drive to get their drink. And maybe they don't wait to get home before they start drinking.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I mean, there's certainly something to it. I think the prevalence of the gambling stuff right now it concerns me a little bit. This is some.
Yeah, some of the stats I've heard are crazy.
Right, and but I mean, it's just like, this is some bait. Like, this is just they are fishing for suckers. Right, plain as day on every advertisement.
Right.
Like, oh, hey, put $100 in and we'll give you $250 in bonus bets. Oh, okay, cool. So I put $100 in. Can I cash $350 out? No. You have to bet that $250 and win something with it, and then you can cash that out.
And wait a month.
Right, and wait a while, and you can only use the bonus bets on this certain sub-specific set of bets. You can't do just anything with it.
Only long shots.
Right, and so it's like, okay, so because I'm trying to think. A good example would have been, and it would have ended up coming through, but it would have been really scary had you done it. But like last night, Denver was a 13-point favorite over Kansas City. That's like a minus 500, meaning you put $500 on Denver to win straight up. you'd have to put $500 up to win 100. Like I would do that if I had bonus bets. I would do that in a heartbeat. Just take some super strong odds winner, and just take them straight up. Because it's minus 250, but you're getting a real $100 on the other side.
All right.
Okay, well I'll put my 250 in bonus bets on, Alabama to beat Tennessee School for the Blind, and that 250 is only paying me $50, but it's $250 in fake money for $50 in real money, right. and it should be a guaranteed win or pretty damn close to it. And so like I think I don't know what the solution is on that one. Like that one, I on the local level, it drives. We've already talked about it. It drives me crazy that we allow online gambling only in the state. It's like make it a brick and mortar. At least make some money here. Let Tennesseans make the money. If we're going to be, exploiting people's gambling weakness.
I could be wrong, but I thought I remember reading that like Tennessee is one of the few states, because most states allow or forbid you from basically connecting a credit card for gambling, basically.
How do you do it otherwise? If it's online only, you have to.
You choose like your debit card versus an actual like credit card where
you're
not using your own money.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I mean,
you're basically taking a corporate loan.
Whatever, you get
to
a
gamble
but
with.
still, if that's your play as the player and you want to gamble with credit card money, you just do a cash advance on your credit card, put it into your debit card, and put it on the thing. If you're that desperate
ways
for
around it, but I mean, you actually, I guess, having a credit card connected to your account directly.
Right. I mean, I think, like I said, I think it's weird. I think it's rude. I think, I mean, again, I think you'd say, okay, it's in person cash only. I mean, if you're gonna, I understand from the state's perspective when it's online and digital, it's way easier to track.
Right.
But I don't know. Figure something out.
There was that story a while back that basically like the Tennessee Lottery and stuff. And there's an app because they saw a decrease in people, I guess, going and buying scratchers and whatnot.
It's so bad. That's so terrible.
So now there's like digital scratchers you can buy.
Every time I see one of those Tennessee Lottery ads, like celebrating how many millions of dollars of scholarships it's raised and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I just think I do not see the win there. I see how many poor Tennesseans spent their last $5 on a scratcher and lost. I don't know, instead of paying their light bill or whatever.
It goes to the Hope Scholarship. People are going to college.
Right.
I'm helping fund college.
Right.
I'm in the poorhouse, but
right, and they're still poor and they're still miserable. Because
I'm altruistically gambling.
Right. $250 of that went into the fund, or probably $2 of that went into the fund. $2 of that went to the apparatus that runs the thing, and then $1 of it went into the pot.
Yeah.
I don't know what the odds are. I'd be curious what the math is, like on a scratcher. If you're, because they're done. They know as soon as they print them, they know how much all these scratchers will pay out $10,000. But when we sell them all, they're going to sell for $1 million. Or whatever the math is.
I just get to know it every time I go into the gas station. And there's somebody. I'm glad somebody had the forethought to actually number for the 25 different ones that are there, so it actually kind of speeds up the transaction. But I always have to shake my head when there's somebody in front of me getting 4 or 5 different ones, and I'm just like, motherfucker, come on.
Let me get a 6, a 14, 2 3s, 4 7s.
I'm like, I know you can't really buy it anywhere else.
They stand over in the corner and scratch them off and then come right back up to cash.
Most of them have a policy that you can't do it inside. So sometimes you'll see them on the trash can, right outside the front door.
Oh, I've seen a couple that have a Tennessee Lottery station.
Yeah, I've seen that in I guess almost like a little Keno thing or whatever.
Yeah, and you can go fill. Well, no, but yeah, that too. But I'm just talking about it's just a little platform, right. And it's got your Powerball. So if you want to fill in your personal numbers.
Yeah, there's some that have a little scanner that you can scan, I guess, your lottery tickets. It goes the woohoo, woohoo.
Yeah. They'll tell you if it's a winner or not.
Yeah.
Because, right, at the end of the day, none of it matters. It's you don't even have to scratch them off.
I actually got tempted when they kept talking about the latest Powerball getting up to 1.7 billion.
Somebody won yesterday. Christmas Day winner.
I saw that.
Single winner on Christmas Day of the $1.8 billion Powerball.
Yeah. Guy in Arkansas, I think.
And I bet you he's dead in 6 months.
It's possible.
Cocaine and hookers kills him every time. I just don't we did it. God, I don't remember what the total was back then. It was significant for let's see here, that would have been 2008 or something like that. We went and we did a pool and got 100. Right, so we had like 10 people throw
Just
10 bucks.
Powerball?
Right, 10 people throw $10 a piece in, and we bought 100 numbers. And I think we cashed $7. I think we hit one Powerball for $5.
It's about the odds. Actually, that's probably pretty good.
Yeah, it's probably better than average. But it's just like it was fun. Like it was fun just for the stupid fun of it. Like that was kind of fun because it was 10 people, 12 people. It was a bunch of different people, kind of all pooled together, and we're sitting in the corner after the end of our work shift. And somebody had the official numbers down, and we all had a couple because they only print like 5 on each ticket or whatever.
Yeah.
And we're all going through, like we share all the tickets, and we're all going through, and it's like, oh, I got a Powerball, yeah, sweet. And then we finish up, and it's like, all right, we got $5. It's like, well, whoever wants to go collect it gets to keep the $5 because
everybody gets a dime.
Right. But it was just like it's fun in the sense of, but I don't know, it's not. It's stupid. I will never like of the many wise isms my dad has ever said, is it is just a tax on poor people.
Yeah.
Because if you're in the real middle class, if you're in the top 10% of earners, nobody with money plays that shit.
Right. They'll go to an actual casino.
Right.
Or they'll do sports betting.
Or they'll put their $10,000 a year or whatever that they would spend on it into like a 401k or something like that and get guaranteed returns.
If they're smart about it.
I mean, we're so like I said, and this is one of those that I struggle with because it's like I've been hating on old folks and stuff like that. I got in an argument with Max's dad because he's been on a rant about 65 plus shouldn't have to pay property tax, and it's like, yeah, you should. If you can't afford your house, sell it. Let somebody else live there that can afford it and may have more than you in it.
I think Florida's floated that idea recently.
I mean, we have the freeze here that it can't go up.
Right.
And I like but it's one of those like again, for the politician, it's an impossible topic. Because if I'm going to run for mayor here in a couple of weeks, if I'm going to start running my mayor campaign, I'm really fucked because the people that actually bother to vote are all the people I'm telling them to go fuck themselves.
Right.
Because somebody needs to say, you guys need to go fuck yourselves. Like, I mean, come on. If you can't afford your house, and Joel's not the type per se, but plenty of people in that bracket are the type they're the type that are sitting back there. Well, if you can't afford it, then you shouldn't buy it. Whatever it is, like if you can't afford the house, or you can't afford the car, or you can't afford the shirt, whatever, like the fancy clothes, whatever it is, you can't afford it, you shouldn't be buying it.
Right.
Because they're financially stable, and then they're out there advocating for not have to pay taxes, and it's like, go get fucked.
But I can empathize with it to an extent of, somebody that's owned their house for 30 or 40 years, bought it for $20,000 or whatever, and now it's worth $500,000. They're paying the added tax on that.
I have no empathy for that, none. Because you literally just quintuple, I don't know, whatever the math is for your hypothetical there. You're like, you bought it for 50 and it's worth 500 now. You just hit tenfold value. The amount of benefits you had as a human being through the entirety of that. Every time your house value went up, your ability to borrow, your ability to do stuff, your ability to manipulate your wealth for your own ends was in your pocket the whole time. I'm sorry. Now that you're retired, you don't want to pay the property tax, but you had all the wealth and all the use of that wealth for the entire time because of your piece of property. No, you pay your property tax. There's so many advantages to owning a home and having wealth in your home and stuff like that you can use. And if you use them well and wisely, then you should be better off as a human being for it.
Yeah.
And to say that you get a break
again, your
because
buying power kind of goes down with the housing market going up. Like, sure, you want to downsize, but you're still great. Now you got a $200,000 2-bedroom house.
I hear that complaint. However, I just disagree. I don't know how else to say it other than I just disagree. Because. I mean, I agree in that the market is so crazy right now that, sticking on Joel, for example, he's 72, 73, something like that. He's not in particularly great health. His current house is not a particularly big house. It's a smaller 2-bedroom home in North Knox County. Maybe it's in the city. Is it in the city? I think it's in the city. Anyway, around Fountain City area kind of stuff. I'm sure he could get a pretty penny for that house. But to downsize, I don't know. There's not a downsized house available to him. downsizing for him is going to have to be either
That's another issue. Yeah.
It's either an assisted living home, which is probably not too far off for him. Actually, I don't mean that in a mean way. It's just he's getting to the point where he's going to start needing some regular help, or at least some in-home health care. Stopping by on a regular basis and that kind of thing. But he also has money. Like, he's a retired CB and former union head, and so he's got pensions. He's got like two pensions of retirement and Social Security coming in. He's making good money and doesn't know where to spend it. Should be spending it on a home health care nurse and like a maid or something to come by and clean his house after a while, because he's a little bit of a messy dude. But I just don't I it doesn't make sense to me. Like, yeah, if they're in rough space, I mean, actually, no, it still doesn't make sense to me. Like, unless you are living in a hovel of a home and you're somehow going to get taxed out of your hovel of a home, then maybe write in some exceptions because of income issues and stuff like that. But it can't be I mean, again, like I said, his place isn't huge. It's not super nice or anything, but it's a decent house in a decent neighborhood in a decent part of town. It's way more house than that man needs. And there are families dying to get into homes like that,
right,
who can't find one. Because the only thing we're building in Knoxville are all these McMansion neighborhoods. And this little, family of 3 or 4 can't afford that shit.
Right.
Where they could probably afford his house if it was on the market. And so I don't know if he went and lived in an apartment or an assisted living home or something like that, then got that house back on the market. He could afford a nicer retirement home and actually plan it out. I don't know. I have no sympathy for that idea. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Except for if I'm running for office and I need your vote, then absolutely. Wow, that's crazy. We should take care of you. You're a veteran too? We should be paying you to live in that house and slowly destroy it as you die. I mean, technically we are paying him to live in that house, but anyway, not as county government, but we just need to we need to be real about some of these conversations, and I think that one's just too easy to kind of throw off. It's like, oh yeah, old people are cool. We need to take care of them. They are, and we do need to take care of them. But taking care of them,
part of it is, like you said, they're a large voting bloc.
Yeah, and they suck for it. Well, no, it's our fault. It's our generation's fault, and the generation between us and my kids' fault for not being active voters. If there was an appetite to be not to be mean to old people, but just be like, no, this guaranteed wealth.
I mean, they're a large block of population, period, just being baby boomers.
True, but this wealth protectionism as a government policy is not in the best interest of this nation or the next generation coming up in this nation. We need to figure out a way to make these younger people have more opportunities, more options, and more chances. And protecting the wealth you've built over your lifespan is not good for these kids. Yeah. It's just not.
That's why you got to get the new Trump accounts.
Oh.
Get them for your kids.
I mean, I don't dislike that idea if we can opt out of Social Security. Like, get that Trump account, and when you get to when the kid gets to working age, they can opt out of Social Security and send the money, send the equivalent. They still have to pay, but they send it to this Trump 401k instead of Social Security.
Yeah. All right. Tariffs are going to help us.
Which you can't do. I mean, which you can't do because the only reason Social Security is a Ponzi scheme by design. The generation currently pulling from it is getting paid by the generation paying into it currently.
Yeah.
So if any generation stops paying it, the generation getting paid won't be able to, because they didn't put it in an account and save it for you when you retire. They spent it on stuff. And so me and you paying Social Security right now gets paid is who's paying. That's where everybody that's getting Social Security checks is getting the money from.
Right.
And so it can never. It only works as long as it always works.
Or as long as it's going to run out in like 15 years or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, at some point there's going to have to be some reconciliation that needs to happen, whether it needs to be some influx of funding from somewhere else, or they raise the rate of how much they take out of your check,
Right.
to keep it solvent. And that's a inflationary issue more than it is. That's just a natural issue of the devaluation of the dollar, as it is anything else. Which again, I still don't understand that. I still would like to find an economist to explain to me why inflation is a must, or why deflation is bad. Like the idea that the value of the dollar getting stronger would be a bad thing.
I've always heard that you want, at least a little bit of inflation. But you want
Right.
to keep it around like 1.5%.
Right, I don't understand. Right, which I've heard that too. It was I don't understand that.
It's similar to the point to where it's still driving the economy and people spending money.
But
It's
but
not overinflated, but I think I've heard that it would be even worse to have severe
but the
deflation.
thing is, it's always like it's always like you compare inflation to the average wages. Our average wages is the increase in wages outpacing inflation. Well, to me at least, it's logical that at best case scenario they're going to come out even. If wages go up 10%, price of goods is going to go up 10% equivalently.
Not necessarily.
I mean, unless somebody in the chain of things is taking less pay, which means wages won't go up respectively. I mean, if the CEO or the company at large, maybe the company spends less in R&D or less in other places, less in marketing as a result. But for the company average, or for the company percentages to stay the same, if they raise their pay by 10%, then their percentage of labor goes up, then everything else is going to go up to offset to keep labor as a percentage of the whole the same. So what most businesses would do, because if you don't, you slowly bleed out and die. Like it's just you could maybe do it for a short term, but after okay, we're giving all employees are getting an extra $2 an hour, but we're not changing our retail price for whatever it is we do. That $2 an hour has to come out somewhere.
Right.
Whether that $2 an hour comes out of the CEO's pocket in his cut, or whether it comes out of they went from buying B quality products to a C quality product, so that they're selling worse product, and they're paying less for their goods that they're selling, so that justifies the price staying the same. Whatever it is, it's coming out somewhere. And so, to me, if wages are going up, then inflation is going to go up more or less in the same. And it doesn't matter. Why are we talking about this? AI is going to fix it all anyway.
That's right.
I just need to get on board with that idea and just stop complaining and be like, AI is going to.
Just go with it, man.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like we gotta. I feel like we're on. We might have already crossed the Rubicon on this one, but if we haven't crossed it, we're close. And if we don't start really having a real discussion about this, it's going to be too late. If it's not already too late. And not just AI, just in general. Like, I think the social contract is broken. I don't think other than the 60 plus, other than my parents and stuff like that, I don't think anybody out there is looking out there going like, I believe this government is working for me. I don't think that's true I don't think anybody thinks that anymore. At least for a while, you had like at least populations, parts of the government, parts of sections of the nation who at least believed that there was some net positive coming out of this thing.
Right.
And I don't think that's unique. I don't think that's a uniquely U.S. issue either. I think that's why we've seen this weird radical right wave over the last couple of years around the world. We've had like what's his name in who was the Trump facsimile in Britain?
Oh, Nigel Farage?
No, before him. He was the one that went and told Zelensky not to make a deal. Like, he was all weird, blonde hair, goofy dude.
Oh, yeah, I can't think of his name.
Yeah. Anyway, like we've had
he purposely would mess up his hair to look more like a commoner.
Yeah, but so there's been a wave of like a more extreme right wing. There's been a wave of ethno nationalism. There's been a wave of isolationism and different stuff like that that's been going on around the world. We're no exception, or we're not special in it, other than I guess maybe our political system makes it a little bit more screamy, painfully obvious how segmented our populations are becoming.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the reason for that is I think the world economy is slowing down. I think because I mean it's like China and India make Taiwan, like Southeast Asia, full stop. They're the only people that make anything anymore, and they do it off of ridiculously cheap labor and zero, environmental standards.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, that's the world we live in, but like, how does that work? Like just on straight economics, it doesn't make any sense. Because yes, though people like me who buy things from China and then sell them here in the States, I get my middleman cut, and then I spend my money, and that goes into the economy locally, and blah blah blah, and that runs it a little bit. But at the end of the day, like this is a fleeting system that we're working with here, and again, it only works. Apple, the iPhone, as the greatest invention that everybody carries around in their pocket, only works because we pay people nickels and dimes to actually build them. We've talked about on here. There's a company that's a U.S. company that builds a really basic, but it's a smartphone. It's 100% from case to innards, all the chips and stuff in it. I think some of the chips are imported because they just don't exist. But like almost like 90% of this phone is produced in the United States,
right?
And it's like $2,000
exactly,
and it's not half as good as the current iPhone.
Yeah, I think I heard something that like, to do the iPhone in the U.S., it would be like $6,000 or $7,000.
Yeah, and it's still $2,000 or whatever it is. I don't know what it is, like, because you always get a deal and whatever. Like I think it's like $1,200
for a new one. Yeah, probably.
If you bought one without a plan, I'm thinking it's like $1,500.
Probably, yeah.
It's like, I don't know, is it worth that? I don't know. Like I mean, part of it that's fucking bullshittery, and this is something that I don't know. To me, I don't know what the solution to this one is either. I think there's part of me that wants a government intervention in this, but there's another part of me that I don't think that would fix it either. It's like this designed obsolescence thing. Apple's notorious for it. Like you get your phone, if the phone is on iOS 10 when you buy it, by the time they get to iOS 20, the phone can't physically handle it anymore, and they put some stuff in to start killing battery life and stuff like that. They've gotten in trouble for that. You've heard about that.
Yeah.
Like they initially make the hardware or the software kill the hardware, so you have to buy a new phone.
Right.
Which is
or just make it go slow enough to make it really annoying.
Right. Which is full on fuckery, and that's the problem. But the issue is that there's no competition really in the market. You have Android or Apple. Even on the Android side of the thing, they do similar style shit and stuff like that. There's no real competition in the industry of smartphones.
Right.
The only other one that's really exists on the planet is Huawei, and we don't let them in the States because China uses them to spy on people. Not that the U.S. doesn't use every other thing to spy on people too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And again, like the idea, like, and so much of it is stuff that people don't even want. Like they're like,
some of it's just driven by the market of keeping up with the Joneses, etc.
But it's I don't know. Because like one of the things to me, it's like there are like 4 things I use my phone for. I use my email, I use my text messages, I use my phone, and then there's like 5 apps that I use regularly. 2 of those 5 apps that I use regularly are different email apps because I have 7, 8 emails that come to my phone. One of them's a game that it's my deadhead's, like, I just don't want to think right now. I'm going to play a stupid game and go blank for a little while.
Right.
Then Facebook, but Facebook for work stuff. And then I use my podcast player. That's the other one. That would be my top of my list. If I was going to list it out correctly, it would be, I use my phone for podcasts, text messages, phone calls, emails, in that order. I don't know. I don't think a podcast player is a particularly sophisticated device by any current standard. Is there a world where I could just buy a podcast player that's a standalone podcast player, does nothing else but podcast player, but it does it well, regularly, all the time?
Yeah.
And
I think Kindles used to do that.
I can get an iPod.
I say Kindles had that. Basically do like books, but I want to say they got into doing like audiobooks and podcasts as well.
I did see that Chevy is no longer starting this year, starting the 26 models, or maybe it's the 27 model, so not starting until August or whatever this year. Will no longer have Apple or Android Play in their media systems.
For why?
Basically, the idea is it's the CEO was talking about it. I watched an interview with it. It's kind of interesting. It's like, he's like, we don't see, if you're going to use your phone, you're going to use your phone. The interface of Apple CarPlay isn't any better than you just using your phone in your hand. It's not any safer. It doesn't change anything in like hands-free, like legally kind of whatever. Like, it doesn't change anything. Like you can still Bluetooth your, like the Bluetooth still works. You can still listen to whatever coming from your phone into the system. You can still take phone calls and stuff like that, but you can't actually interact with your phone on the touchscreen,
right?
Like when you have Apple Play in there. And he's like, basically the take on it was like, there is no functional way, at least right now, that we can have software built into it that's going to integrate well with your phone. In the sense that, like, if you're the type that your phone is like your personal assistant, and you say, "Hey Siri," and it tells you stuff, and like, put this on my schedule, and it gives you a heads up about when the stuff coming. There's no amount of interface that the car's going to do any better. And so they're like, well, you're just going to do it on your phone anyway. Why are we going to put it in the car? Your calendar, your email, all that kind of stuff. There's no point in putting, you can't put email on the screen anyway for safety reasons.
Right. You can have it read out text.
Right. And so, like, basically, it's like it does. If anything, it just makes you, the user, more dependent on your phone than using systems that we could put in the car to make it part of your process.
Yeah, I mean, you can get around some of this stuff. Like, my car has like HD radio or whatever.
Well, I'm going to say,
outside of that,
you still have.
I would have to have it's like a little memory card that would have like maps if I want to have like maps in the car.
Yeah. I see. That's weird. I've never, like, what year is yours?
23.
That's weird. Because mine just has the maps. Like, I don't have to.
Some cars come with them, but some manufacturers make you buy like the newest navigation card. Like, it's basically like a little SD
but you can
card.
put Apple Play on with the Apple Maps.
Right.
And it'll go.
Or whatever app you use for maps, right?
That too. That's what it's funny.
Same thing with music or whatever. Like, pretty much if I don't have my phone, the only thing I can listen to is the radio in my car. There's no other. Yeah,
but his point was you'll still have Bluetooth, so you can still just get the car and your Bluetooth hooks up.
Right.
You just don't have the controls to change, your podcast on the screen. You still have to get on your phone to do it.
Right.
Which is like I still do it that way because it doesn't, like, the Apple Play does not. The Apple Play in Toyota, at least, it is not the same interface. Like, my ability to go find a podcast, like, it just doesn't. It is not logically the same way at all when I have my Apple Play hooked up. Like, it's weird. Like, because when I go to the podcast player, because I use the Apple Podcast. Like, when I go to the podcast player, it's a left to right, and I can scroll left to right, and it's like all of my subscribed podcasts in order of the most recent released. So The first one on there is the one that's released most recently, and then so on and so forth backwards. So I just scroll left and right, and if I just tap on it, it'll play that newest release one, but then I can tap on the corner of it, and it'll go to the show and show me all the episodes. Like, it'll show me the last 10 episodes or whatever. But if I'm on Apple Play, it does not do it the same at all. It's like, it's just not nearly as functionally intuitive. So, but again, like, especially if we're not driving for much longer, like actually driving for much longer, like, why wouldn't I just put my phone up in my face like a normal person?
Yeah, I know Ford just came out. I forget what they're calling it, like Blue something. That's basically like hands-free driving.
I don't know. I'm gonna be full old man on that one.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely saw it some when I was working in like the auto industry. The people started becoming super reliant on like backup cameras and just like didn't turn around to look at shit.
Yeah,
like, it's supposed to like help you be safer and help you see things, but people became super reliant on that.
Yeah,
and I think they've already had many of cases. I've seen like body cam footage of people driving drunk in a Tesla, and have tried to argue that they weren't driving; it was car driving.
Yeah.
It's like, no, motherfucker, like, you're still supposed to be in control of it. You're still getting a DUI and you're going to jail.
Well, it goes back to a couple weeks ago. We talked about the episode of, like, there was some self-driving, whatever.
Tesla.
Some self-driving car ran a stop sign or something like that. And there was nobody in it, or there was nobody in the front seat.
It was the cops had pulled over a driverless car.
Right, but it's like there's got to be, like, somebody has to be on the consequence list there. Like, you can't just be like, oh, well, there's no driver, there's no ticket. It's like, fuck yeah, there's got to be a ticket.
Right.
Like, it should be on, like, at best, at worst, it should be on, like, the engineers and stuff, because they're the ones that put the system in that's driving the car.
Yeah.
Like, somebody's got to be responsible. Because you take that to the logical end, it's like, okay, well, what if the process of running that stop sign hits somebody who's liable for the damages?
Right, exactly.
And again, it goes back to, like, we've got, like, we're if we're not already over if we've not, I'm going to keep going back to my Rubicon cliche. It's like, if we've not already crossed the Rubicon, we need to really try to get some features in place here, like liability. You know, like Tesla doesn't get to argue that it's not their fault if their car driving under their system runs somebody over.
Right. It was a couple of years ago, somebody talking about, you know, or they were questioning whether or not with these, like, self-driving cars, if the programming and the, you know, programmers or whatever, you know, have basically kind of given the, like, the trolley kind of dilemma to the car. And what would a driverless car do in that, or a self-driving car do in that situation?
Right. There's no good answer.
2 people on the sidewalk or 3 people in the road, like, what's it going to do?
Right. But one of the people in the road is an old lady who might already be dead. We're just not sure.
See, I don't know if they're good enough to, well, they may be good enough now to discern that, but
yeah,
they may look at size, but
you know, again, like, somebody's got to be responsible. Like, there's got to be we have to have a responsible party that can pay for it. I think the owner should too, at some level.
Right.
Like,
you're supposed to still be cognizant.
Well, just, you know, like, I think that needs to be an implied risk of buying a self-driving car. Right. The implied risk is that you are liable if this self-driving car does something.
Right.
I don't think you should be solely liable. I think the engineers and all that should be part of it too, because you need to have a stick in place to incentivize them to make sure it works right.
Yeah.
But it also needs to be like, hey, if you're going to use this machine as designed, you're responsible for what it does.
Well, Subaru's had it for a couple of years, where they've got part of, like, their eyesight system or whatever. They actually have, like, cameras, like, facing in, like, looking at you, basically making sure that you're, like, keeping your eyes focused on the road.
Right.
So I guess it can look and see if you're, like, looking off into the distance, you know, or looking out the window for too long. It'll, like, start warning you.
I'd be curious.
It's like, hey, keep your eyes on the road, motherfucker.
I'd be curious if they had that in my car. What does it say about me when I'm driving? I got I don't know. I mean, I've been driving for 30 years now, so
right.
Like, it is so thoughtless to me. Like, I'm not thinking for the most part. I don't think so. I don't know. Like, I'm just like you've done. Everybody's done it. If you're driving for a while, you're like, which way did I drive home?
Right.
Not drunk. I'm not saying I was like I'm not drunk. Like, fully sober. Drove home from work. Get home and put the groceries away or whatever. And we're like, which way did I come home? I don't remember which way I came home. Because there's like 5 different ways I can go to the grocery store from my house.
Right.
Which one of those 5 ways did I go? And I think about it for a while, and I just cannot remember, because it's just like, you know, like, all the turns are the same. I've done them all 1,000 times. It's just...
No, more so it's be like thinking about something, and like, oh, I've gone through like 2 or 3 lights. Yeah. And not really, like, paid as much attention.
Or so, yeah, like, driving a more long distance one and being like, it's been like 2 hours. Or, hey, we're already in Knoxville. Yeah. I mean, it's been the right amount of time, but I don't remember. Like, I was listening to that story, and I was into it. Talking about murders or snafus. I've been enjoying the snafu without Holmes. I don't like this season as much. I'm very disappointed, Mr. Holmes. The first 2 or 3 seasons where the entire season was one story. Mm-hmm. And so it was like going deep into it. And this season is single episode stories where he's just... Like, someone's like, apparently there was the molasses flood of Boston in 18-something.
Sorry about that. People still claim to, like, to this day, on, like, a hot day, they'll smell it.
Smell like, yeah.
There was a bunch of people that died on that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm imagining it was a very gross way to, like, clean up. And
very sticky.
Apparently seawater was the solution. They just pumped water in out of the Massachusetts Bay. Like, something about the seawater kind of dissolves it down.
It's probably just the most readily available thing.
Yeah. But, but regular water wouldn't, I don't know, whatever. But, but that was the last episode. I mean, to be fair, that's not like previous, like the Broken Arrow one, which is the one I was talking about. That's where I learned about the nuclear warhead falling off a boat in near Japan.
Yeah.
That was one of the single episode ones. But then they did a Cold War one, a different Cold War one. That was like, I think it was season 2. It was the whole season was on it. It was a big, it was a huge deep dive into all this different back and forth.
They talk about the broken arrows during that too.
Yeah, interviews with KGB guys that have defected or that since the fall of Russia were allowed to talk about it, kind of shit. Like a bunch of declassified conversations. Really neat. Yeah, but really deep down in it. But yeah, I like the longer form better. Especially for, because when I went and picked Max up from the airport, I did the entire first season from the second I left the driveway to the second I got home. Mm-hmm. It was the entire season was that 8 hours or whatever. I was in the car. But everybody else is on Christmas break, so it's not been, I've been missing my podcast, but I haven't been listening to as much as I usually do either.
There's some that'll do. I'll listen to them sporadically.
I guess that's what we could talk about. It's like, what do you think the biggest story of the year is that we went through this year? I'm going to let Google help us out on this one.
I would say the quote-unquote supposed end of the Israeli-Gaza conflict.
Okay. I'm
going worldwide.
I agree. I mean, I don't disagree with that. On the local side, I mean, I think the city elections in general, I would say were one of some of the more important stories. I think the Bean Center story is probably the biggest. I think it's the biggest story on a number of levels in county government, in state issues, and just known knowns. Like it's, to me, that's the biggest scandal revealed that we all knew was a scandal, but nobody cared enough to fucking do anything about. Was the Bean Juvie Center
really knew or thought about the juvenile detention center?
Right, but it was one of those, like, I mean, like, anybody who knew about it knew about it. Like, plenty of people knew about it. This wasn't a new thing about how poorly run it was. It was just one of those, like, we don't have a solution. We don't have the means to do anything really, so we're just going to leave it.
Yeah, and
it finally came to a head this year over a stupid political firing of all things, which is kind of hilarious if you think about it. Like, really, really falling short on taking care of the youth of Knox County and East Tennessee at large. The most vulnerable kids that need the most help from us as a community, we fail miserably. And somebody says something to the news about it and gets fired because of the politics. That's what blows the whole thing up. Not, I don't know, kids dying or kids getting fucked up or not getting their medication like they're supposed to get while they're in there. None of that's that big a deal. Right. It's somebody got fired, which is, I mean, it's appropriate for a local government scandal, I suppose. But
I think sometimes that's what it takes to.
Yeah. Well, but again, like, it's one of those, like the question to me, and this is one we'll follow as the year continues, is the state going to give the State Department of Children's Services some power to punish or do something about failed local juvenile detention centers? Because to me, that's the core of this whole thing. There's a whole bunch of looking the other way, or we don't know what to do about it, so we're going to pretend like it doesn't exist. There's plenty of that was going on locally. But at the end of the day, DCS was coming in at least once a year, failing them miserably. Bean would be like, okay, cool, and not do anything about it. And nothing would change.
Right.
And so to me, it'll be interesting to watch if in session this year they put some sort of like TBI partnership with DCS, so that if DCS has a certain level of complaint, they could take it to TBI. TBI will come in and put the screws to whatever's going on here to get some solution done instead of just leaving it.
I want to say there was like a follow-up, or maybe they were just kind of re-reporting on it, of the story of, like foster kids basically having to sleep in like the offices of like DCS.
Yeah. I mean, that was a interesting thought my wife passed along, and I don't really haven't put a lot of thought into it yet. I'm curious about it. Whether there is a little bit of
Jeopardy tonight, the final question on Jeopardy was about the one-child policy in China that that was removed in 2016. I can't remember. Anyway, that was the answer was the one-child policy, and so and when that was put in place, it's actually kind of a logical policy. Like, it's fucked up and it's inhumane and not very human friendly by any stretch. That, hey, it's important to us as a government that you marry and have a kid, but no more.
Right.
And preferably that kid's a boy. But we can't really do anything about that part of it. But only one. Make it a boy if you can.
I want to say the punishment was like increased taxes, basically, if you had another kid.
And
but I guess it was bad enough that people were basically like killing their kids.
Yeah. Yeah, and so
it's like a massive penalty or something.
And so one of the reasons that they pulled the policy was because the population was starting to become problematic in the other direction, where if they didn't have, if they didn't have this next a bigger generation, this next generation of kids that come and hit the workforce and pay taxes and do all the things that the economy needs to survive and go out there and work, this older set of people wasn't going to have any of the safety nets that were built in to the system because they couldn't afford it and blah, blah, blah. And so it's like, okay, now you can start having more kids or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, like, there is the conversation here in the States, and that we are not on a replacement level internally.
Right. Less than many other developed nations.
And so the question she put to me was, do you think that part of this abortion thing that we've had over the last couple of years, getting us hot and bothered and actually finally overturning Roe v. Wade and all that kind of stuff, is some of that, in that the state understands that we need to get more people into the system so that the system can work, and not letting people get abortions is a way to get more people into the system. And like, my gut reaction, it's like, but if I was the politician, sell it that way. It's a lot better sell than like this religious fervor thing.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But it also comes across as like kind of eugenics, like, hey, get pregnant, have a kid, and we'll take it over here because we're going to keep them alive because they're important for the system, but you don't need to have them.
I want to say I've seen statistics of states that have had or implemented a real strict abortion policy. It's like they're still getting roughly the same number of abortions. Like, they didn't really increase or decrease.
But I'm saying, but the point, the intent was whether the execution, like, as we know full well, the attempt, the idea, and the goal, and what actually happens in reality once whatever policy is put into place to achieve said goal is usually never really works out the same.
Right.
But the question is, was that part of the thought process? Is we need more babies? Because, again, going back to hating on old people, these people keep living longer and longer. We need more babies so that they can get jobs and they can pay into Social Security, so these old people have Social Security available.
I wouldn't think so.
I don't know. Like I said, I'd like.
You would think they'd also have to calculate in there the odds that you may have more kids going into foster.
Well, but I was to say, you would think that if that was the play, I would think that the gut reaction would be, okay, one, I'm going to sell it that way as the politician instead of being the religious zealot. I think that'd be an easier sell to the public. But two, I would put in, it would be, abortion is illegal, but we have all these new programs in place. If you get pregnant and don't want to get pre-pregnant and don't have the means to carry the kid or raise the kid or whatever, we have prenatal care available, and we have all these foster systems set up. And make that more of the sell. It's like, we're not saying get pregnant all willy-nilly or anything. We want you to get pregnant and raise your own kid. But if you happen to get pregnant and you don't want it, here are your options. Right. And that would be like, if that was part of the plan, that would be part of the sale of, hey, you can't abort your kids anymore. But we have a good, clear, simple way for you to offload your kid. There's no way to say that. It doesn't sound awful, but we have a system set up to offload your kid. We got the Chicago Pope. That's a new one. That was a.
That's right. Yeah.
We had the longest shutdown in U.S. history. 43 days. Those are the subnational ones.
Right.
The Bourbon Street one. I forgot about that.
Is that the driver, like the parade?
Yeah. The Doge was fun. Yeah, that was a big story this year.
Oh, yeah.
The Doge. Of course, the Epstein stuff is one of the biggest stories of the year. The AI revolution. Absolutely. This is according to Google's Gemini AI, which kind of makes it funny. Major U.S. domestic news. Assassination of Charlie Kirk, yeah. That was this year. Long shutdown, the Epstein files, NBA gambling scandal. That was not that big a fucking deal.
No, it was just kind of crazy.
I mean, to me, that's one of those, hope and pray that people see that and go, oh, okay, all these crazy prop bets they let us do, those are fixable. There was an argument, apparently, that apparently Tennessee scored late in the game against the Chiefs last weekend, and it was disallowed because an ineligible receiver downfield, whole big weird penalty, to which a bunch of people are like, no, he declared his eligibility. He should have been able to do that. That was not a penalty. They just made up that penalty so that Tennessee didn't score, and so the over wouldn't hit. So yeah, that's all I got. I don't know. I think the story of the year locally is the Bean Center story. The Gay Street Bridge story is an interesting little subplot.
I was about to say, not the Gay Street Bridge.
But I think that one's... I mean, I like I said, I still have questions about that one, and I'm begging to find out if anybody's asked. I still have a lot of questions about how was it good until it wasn't. Like, how did it go from we were driving on it to stop now?
Right. At the stadium opening up.
Was that this year? Yeah, it was this year. Yeah, I mean, so we have
they finally finished it and
champions
had the inaugural
in soccer.
season. Yeah,
the League One champions right here in Knoxville.
Whoa.
Me and you went to that game, saw it in the flesh. Some good seats, by the way. Good job picking those seats.
Yeah,
those are great seats. I lost my best friend in city council. She's no longer in council. She's not my best friend, but she's my best city council friend. But she's not my city council friend anymore. She's just a friend.
Right.
I'm sure she's still out of the country and reveling and enjoying her life. Not.
Yeah.
But I think, I bet then going, if we shift gears to the look at it this year, I think the Knox County mayor's race is the number one biggest story. This Republican primary is going to be the number one biggest story. I think the sheriff race is interesting.
The governor's race.
I don't think that's interesting. I think that's hard.
It was interesting. I'm just saying.
I mean, I don't think it's like. I think that's I don't know. I could see it if the Democrats could put somebody fun in. Maybe this is a good rehash of the Gloria Johnson game. Not really. I don't know who would be better. Or if we have somebody in the Republican primary that's openly against Trump, and Trump digs himself in such a deep hole that people start voting against Trump. Republicans start voting against Trump.
Yeah.
In Tennessee. That would be fascinating. I just don't know. I think Marsha's a given. Marsha will be our governor.
Most likely.
I've kind of resigned to that fact, and I don't like it. But as far as I see the way this system works, what at least locally, what would have been the biggest competitor for her locally, as soon as she sniffed at the job, he said, "Nope, I'm out. It's all you, girlfriend." And he's out there making the circuit right now. So, because I've seen him on more national shows in the last 3 weeks than I've seen.
The Rose guy?
Huh?
The Rose guy?
No, Jacobs.
Okay.
Yeah, the Rose guy's still in for the governor as far as I know.
Yeah, I was about to say, I thought he was one of the people running against her in the
primaries.
I
I think Glenn's playing. I'm going to be a good boy. I'm going to be a good MAGA Republican, and Marsha's going to give me her Senate seat. I can't. How old do you think Glenn Jacobs is? Granted that 78 is the cutoff for running for Senate, so
I would guess 49, 50 maybe.
Do 58.
Nah.
He looks like my brother.
7 feet tall.
7 flat.
Is that with his wrestling boots on?
So like, I mean, this is the time, like get a Senate seat. So her Senate seat will be back. Like that seat will be back on the ballot in 30.
He's got an Instagram account.
He's got an IMDb too. That seat will be back on the ballot in 30. If he can be the incumbent for that in 30, that would make him 62, 63. Incumbent running for Senate, he's got at least one more Senate term in him. That would get him to almost 70. But like if he waits, I don't know. He's not going to. I don't think he's got a big shot if he waits another. Like if he's on the cycle of things, like he's right in the window where he's got a shot at these things, where he's the right age bracket and kind of stuff like that. But if he skips the cycle, he's done.
Yeah.
And he's given up and he's skipping a cycle on the governor's race, which is usually one of the steps on the up the ladder. And respectfully, he's probably right. If it was him, if he's going to primary Marshall Blackburn, he's not going to come out. He's probably not in great shape. But it's still a tactical decision to be like, I'm going to get out of the way. And to what end? To run for a state Senate seat? Or, because was he going to take Briggs' seat? Because that'd be the seat he would be districted for. But that's a step down. Like he's got to take Burchett's seat, or he's got to take Marcia's seat, or what's his face, the other senator. Like that's the only next step logically.
I guess it's McNally, isn't he considered lieutenant governor?
Yeah, but that's just
I don't know if it's automatic that you have to be in the Senate to be lieutenant governor. Or
I don't know. Like that's just like that's the same as like the chair of the school board.
Yeah,
you have more power per se, but you have a little bit more control over what's going on. You can introduce bills in the order that you want, or you can keep them off the floor, and you can play those kind of games. But other than that, you don't have any more. Like it's not. You don't go from lieutenant governor to fucking governor. You don't unless the governor dies.
Right.
Or is incapacitated thanks to Massey's amendment.
I'd say anytime Marcia goes in for surgery.
Right.
He gets to play governor for a few hours.
And so I mean I don't know. Like I have questions. I did get an email from Channel 6. They were supposed to be having Glenn Jacobs on for something. And they basically said, hey, do you, not me personally, it's just one of those things. If you have questions for Glenn Jacobs, we're going to have him on the show. Submit questions and we'll see. And I was like, are you cool with your, with the campaign running to replace you, accusing you of being wasteful with spending?
Yeah.
Because I will. That is on my agenda whenever I can. I'm going to make the occasion to get a hold of his office and ask that question. And I would like to know Jacob's official stance. Does he feel like he has been wasteful, missing, not paying attention to the budget of Knox County?
Right.
What should he what does he know that he's let slide that he could have done to trim that budget? Because that's just a fascinating conversation piece in this mayoral race coming up, because it's going to be the taxing. I'm going to do it. I promise I'm going to do it. Fuck, I got to promise I got to do this. I got to make some phone calls. If I can get a venue for free, I will host a mayoral debate, a Republican primary mayoral debate. Will they show up? I don't know, but I will host it. I will partner with the Compass guys so that I have some legitimate name on it.
Right.
Which they'll put their name on it as long as they don't have to do anything except maybe be the moderators. Which they will. And I'm just going to pick a date and put it on the calendar and be like, here it is. Come. And I'm going to hit up all the news companies and be like, hey, we're doing this.
Come one, come all.
And I got some questions on the logistics of that. Like, as a media company, which I am, is it normal to let other media companies in, or do you just give them the feed and they can use that feed? Or do I own the property of that conversation outright, and they have to pay me to use that property?
Yeah. I don't know.
You know, so I don't know. Like those are some of the little isms that I want to like just out of like, you know, just for my own sake. Because like, you know, the problem is like it's not. This is not a free thing. It's going to cost me money to put this on. I can't charge. I could charge tickets, I guess, but I can't really.
Yeah.
You know, like how do I? It's not even a profitable. How do I make this so I don't lose money?
Yeah, so ad space.
You know, it's like I could partner with League of Women Voters and they'd help pay for it.
Yeah.
But then Republicans don't show up because the League of Women Voters is involved. That's part of the pitch. Is going to be like, listen, guys, you keep telling me you don't want to go to League of Women Voters events. Like they'll say Compass is left wing too, which they kind of are. But the fairest shake you're going to get in Knox County, I think, is Compass, as far as any angles from the media. To be fair, I don't think the League of Women Voters is that. I mean, I think they are left leaning, but I don't think their forums are particularly biased.
Right.
The handful that I've been to or watched. So, you know, but again, like I don't like. How do I like? That's my problem. Is like if I can get a venue for free, we will have a not open bar, but we'll have a bar, a cash bar.
There you go.
That's. I mean, I got to figure out something to give the venue back. You can have your bar open, and if any sales are your sales. You know, and I can get some volunteers to help out with some parts and pieces of it, but at some point it's going to cost me, at best, it's just going to cost me my time and effort. That's the cheapest it's going to get. And respectfully out there, everybody, my time and effort is worth money.
Does it cost money to reserve space at a park? Guess it
Maybe.
depends on if you're needing to get a facility.
I don't want to do it outside.
Yeah.
I want it to be inside. I want it to be controllable. I mean, because to me, like, I want it to be controllable, and I want it to be like. I mean, I get on the real like media level of it. It's I'm going to put this on my Facebook channel, and millions and enough people are going to watch it that I get paid ads. That's the only way I make money. That's the way like NBC or whoever gets to host it. That's why they make money.
Yeah.
You know. You'll have they'll sell sponsorships to a fucking debate. Like this debate's sponsored by Pfizer. It's like, oh, okay, well, cool. We're not going to ask any big pharma questions.
Do they, or they just sell ad space for it?
They do ad space, but I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen them where it's like, you know, maybe not presidential debates, but I've seen it where it's like this debate is. It's usually the presidential debates is like it's the commission for the presidential debates or whatever. Is the sponsor because they're the ones that put whatever together. But like, yeah, whatever. It doesn't matter. But like, yeah, this one, I'll see if I can get a beer sponsor. I don't know. You know, but I mean, again, the venue's the big one because like a place that could seat a decent amount of people. That, I mean, and then I don't. The marketing, it should market itself. I should just be able to announce it, and people that pay attention will show up. You know, and it may just be one of those where it's just. You know, either way though, we live stream it onto YouTube or whatever. It's like there should be audience for it, either immediate or long-term audience. Because I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to do. It's not going to be a forum where like the audience isn't submitting questions. I don't see the value in that because it's just going to be like it's got to be like I said, it's going to be a tax-only topic. That's all we're talking about is taxes, taxes and spending, like taxes and budget, I guess.
Don't tell people that ahead of time. They'll be like, that sounds boring. I don't want to go now.
Well, that's the only conversation that matters. So if you care about Knox County government, that's the only conversation that matters.
True.
Because the only other thing they really do is land use. And so, you know, but like, I mean, that is the core of to me, like, I don't know. And this is me predicting the future, but I don't see a way that is not the number one issue in this Republican primary. And so realistically, I couldn't imagine that any of the three current candidates won't want to come and have this out, you know, one-on-one. Because they're all going to be doing it in their own way. You know, like Betsy's already doing it. She's posting almost constantly about these other people want to raise your taxes. I'm not going to raise your taxes.
Yeah.
You know, and so when she's doing that on Facebook, you know, somebody can comment whatever they want to comment, but that doesn't get any attention. Nobody's actually going to press her on the issue. You know, she might end up doing an interview, hopefully with me, where I'm going to press her on the issue. But realistically, Larson and Kim's reply and then her reply to Larson and Kim's thoughts on the thing. That's where we get a functional understanding.
Yeah, she may not want that.
Betsy?
Supposed, yeah.
I mean, that's the problem. Like, that's the problem with trying to do it. It doesn't work. Like,
otherwise she gets control of the narrative by, putting it out on her social media and everything.
That's fine. And then, then it becomes then hopefully Kim and Larson use the narrative of she won't come and talk to us about this in front of you guys because she knows she can't control the narrative.
Possibly, yeah.
She has to, like, she can post on Facebook this, that, and the other all she wants. But when she's confronted with facts from one of us, she doesn't show up. And what does that
Could
say?
be spun that way, yeah.
Yeah, and so, I mean, if everybody plays the cards right, like that's the fear in this. Is I'm going to put all this energy and effort through, and only one show up, or none of them show up, or two of the three show up. I have to have them all. I have to have all three there for it to be worth doing. Because, I mean, I guess as long as Kim, actually, I hate to say it, but as long as Kim plus one shows up, not Kim, as long as Betsy plus one shows up, we get to have the conversation.
Right.
Because right now, at least as far as I've seen in the current social spheres, the conversation is, I'm not saying I'm raising taxes, but it's something that's going to have to be seriously considered, which is code for we're probably going to have to raise property taxes. That's basically what Kim and Larson are saying right now. And then Betsy's like, no, we don't have to raise taxes. You guys are dumb. They're trying to steal your money. They're wasting your money.
Right.
They're going to waste your money.
We're going to find that waste, fraud, and abuse.
Right. Which I would like, because again, I like that would be that'd be the fun way to do it. Get the candidates running and not have Mayor Jacobs be the host. Still have Jesse and Scott be the moderators, but have Mayor Jacobs be the host. So he comes out and give a little, whatever. He can pat himself on the back for all his accomplishments as mayor. Thank everybody for coming out and turn over the stage to Scott and Jesse as moderators. And then we have the debate. And so he can be sitting there on the side of the stage. And I'd be curious to see what his, he's going
to step in and endorse anymore.
I'd be curious to be like, hey, time out real quick, everybody. Mayor Jacobs, this person just said this about your budget. Is that accurate? I mean, well, that's what we were talking about a couple weeks ago when I was pitching the idea originally. It's like, can we fact check this in real time? And like the joke was we could bring Chris Caldwell in, but that's a terrible spot to put that man in.
Right.
Because he's literally live fact checking one of his new bosses.
Right.
One of them will be his new boss, and he's got to live fact check him. That's not a good position to put him in. But Glenn doesn't owe them anything. And Glenn has his own legacy to try to cover, and so like I would if anything, Glenn's going to put his own spin on it for himself's sake. So I would think that he would be the closest to honest about that question, about breaking down a detail if that was the question. I'm just going to pick a date, and I'm going to put it on the calendar and be like, I'm going to pick a date. I'm going to talk to a couple places that I think might be a good hosting place, a good venue. And then if they've got the date available, I'm just going to put it on the books, and I'm going to send a press release out to all the campaigns and all the local media, and then have a long conversation with Scott and Jesse about how that works financially for my end. Because I will, like, if that's legal, if it's semi-normal, that I could charge licensing to the other media people to come, I will absolutely do that.
We have better cameras and better microphones.
That's fine. You can have you can use my feed for you can use my feed for $100, or you can come in and set up your own camera for $500.
Yeah.
I don't know what I don't know if there's a going rate. I don't know if this is a real thing or if I'm just making it up right now. I mean, if I was truly like altruistic, which I don't believe that exists anyway. If I was truly altruistic on the thing, like anybody who wants to come in, come in. But I don't know. Like, there's part of me that just would want to. This is my event, and I made this event happen, and the contents of this event are my property. And if you want to use it, that's fine, but you got to pay me for it. But there is some newsworthy exceptions to that. So, if anything newsworthy comes out of this debate, which is the whole point, they might be able to use it anyway without my permission or without whatever. But I don't know. But it still gets the conversation going. I don't know. I want to try it. Let's get weird. Unless you got a prediction. You got anything big prediction for next year? Anything you think that's going to be major? particularly on the local front?
I can't think of much.
I bet you some weird shit's gonna happen. Like, I mean, it's gonna be a big. Like, I mean, on the national one, we've got this midterm election too, so it may be the end of the Trump era as we know it. We'll see. Motherfucker. I sat and thought about it that whole time I was talking about it. I was like, which button is it? Which button is it? And I decided the wrong one. Go ahead.
Let's see here. Yeah, there's really not any good ones.
No animals falling from the sky? Like that's
no animals falling from the sky.
That has been your MO as of late.
Yeah.
No AI. I don't have the weird... we did not have the same weird situation at Christmas that we did at Thanksgiving with the +1s+1.
Oh, okay, good.
Which, again, I'm not complaining about that. Just to be clear to everybody out there. I'm not complaining about that. Although, the original +1 has turned out to be a weird fucking dude.
Really?
Yeah. He's got a pyramid king that he's chasing around. He keeps inviting me to these conferences about how to these tax advantage blah, 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 blah. And I was like, what is your deal with this guy? He's like, oh, he's my business coach. It's like, cool, man. How much is he charging you? You want to pay me half that to be your business coach? I mean, there is some, like, I actually watched, I agreed to watch to sit in on one of his seminars. And it's like some of it's stuff that, it's stuff that I already knew. Like how to take advantage of the tax code. It's not particularly life-changing stuff. But anyway.
Let's see here. Got a giant Lazy Susans bring people together at Mississippi restaurant. Let's see.
Interesting.
Here. Over the course of a steaming hot southern lunch served family style on a giant Lazy Susan, restaurant owner has watched people go from perfect strangers to lifelong friends. This restaurant consists of just 4 tables, large and circular. They seat up 15 people. In the center of each is a Lazy Susan dotted with the heaping platters of food spinning back and forth as customers pile up their plates.
Interesting.
We've had people sitting together and they've had nothing in common but the table they're sitting at. Provides a unique opportunity for them to meet people, hear different perspectives, and bond over a shared enjoyment of classic Southern food and the restaurant's famed fried eggplant. Oh.
All right. That's fun. I like that. That's a good, happy story. That's not weird. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. One more? You're good.
Nah, there's not really that good.
All right. No more. No more. It's a Christmas week for weird news, too. I did get an argument with my kid on whether or not Santa was an elf. He was like, he's not an elf. I was like, yeah, he is. Anyway, almostagreement@gmail.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Go to the website, almostagreement.com. Check out what's going on there. We appreciate you guys for sticking around. We got another great year ahead of us, and we look forward to continuing doing what we're doing. Hopefully you're along for the ride. So we're Almost Agreement. Like, friend, share, follow, text to your friends, favorite podcast providers. We're on those things. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.